So I think we can start. It is 11 o'clock here in my home. Yeah, welcome everybody to this webinar, Mirasys webinar today about how to find evidences faster by using Mirasys Person Search and Motion Search. So before we start, one small notice. So if you have any questions during the presentation or during the webinar, just use the Q&A part of your Teams application to write it down, and we will have a Q&A session at the end of the event so that I can answer the questions then. It is essential, if you are logged in as anonymous, that you are putting your email address on top, because it could be that I cannot answer the question. So it is essential then that we can stay in touch with you for answering your question afterwards. And that's the housekeeping that I'm giving to you today. Okay. So, all right. So where is my mouse? Oh, yeah, there. So first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Udo Schneider, and I'm the Sales Business Development Director in Central Europe, working for Mirasys now in the 9th year. So I'm an old guy here. And I'm the presenter today. So I'm very glad to meet you today here. And the content today is really, first of all, we'd like to talk about Mirasys itself. So for all the newbies that are here today on the first time, so just 2 slides to give you an overview of what we are doing and how we are acting, what are the benefits of Mirasys to cooperate with Mirasys. And then we will dig into our details. So talking about the person search, first of all, what is it, how it is working, and then we will have a short demo about this. And then we're also talking about the motion search plugin itself, also presenting this afterwards in a live demo. And at the end, we will have a Q&A session. Yeah, so for all the guys who know us already, it's now time to take and grab a cup of coffee or espresso or whatever, because it will take 2 minutes to introduce everybody to Mirasys. All right. Mirasys is the provider of an open, intelligent, and easy and secure video management platform. So we are more than 25 years right now in the business, starting in 1997. So this is our 25th anniversary this year. Yeah, we are celebrating this, and our headquarters in Finland, in Espoo, in the technology center, where we have also other technologies partners side by side. So we are doing also some projects with the university, technical university, which is in the neighborhood as well. So a very nice small Silicon Valley, let's say in that way. We are dealing worldwide, and we have a big customer base, also very well-known customers, let's say that way. So where you never expect that they would work with Mirasys, they may work with other bigger competitors, let's say in that way. But this is exactly, let's say in that way, they like Mirasys in a certain way, how we are acting and how our VMS is working. That's exactly our advantage that we have. So simply said, we are video management system is collecting, storing, providing data from CCTV cameras and other related sensors. Our video management system, we are calling it open, intelligent, easy, and secure. What does it mean? Openness of a video management system does not mean that you can hack it. Openness does mean that you can connect to third-party providers, to third-party data resources or data sources, third-party systems in a very easy and open way. We are doing this via our text channels, via UDD, Universal Data Driver. And then it's very simple to write a small script on XML and XSD format and to connect to a third-party system to dig out of the massive stream information that we are getting exact those events that we want to see, and so easily to adopt another system. Today, it's not essential anymore that we have only video data, but we need also to have other data resources, other data sources, to have a big bunch of data like a data lake, and so to dig out of the data what is essential for us to alarm or to inform the end user. Intelligence is also dedicated to this, so we are delivering intelligent solutions for the video footage as well. So we are talking about motion search today. This is the simplest format, but we are also talking about video content analysis as well as artificial intelligence. So an artificial intelligence means that we are creating models and we are training models exact on a certain behavior or a bunch of behaviors that allows you to analyze exactly what you want to see, what you cannot match or meet with the standard VCA, for example. So we have some certain projects there where we have to identify a certain behavior or let's say a process of behaviors to alarm very quickly. And this is something that is coming up even more. I would say also that artificial intelligence is also related to all the data. So to have predictions for the nearest future, what will happen soon. So you can imagine if you have a production route or, for example, of whatever, chocolate bars or so, and you see that the temperature is decreasing in the chocolate machine, then you need to get an alarm before it's becoming too cold and the chocolate is frozen then, or something like that. So pretty sure you know better than I what you can do with that. So intelligence in analyzing the data is very essential for us, and this is something that we are pushing very hard into the future. That's why we are here today with the person search plugin and the motion search plugin as well as the, let's say, the entrance to this. Easy does mean our system is easy to use, easy to install, easy to configure. There is no certification path in that. We have training sessions for this for sure. But in the normal way of life, it's very easy to use, very intuitive, and that's what we are standing for. And at the end, cybersecurity is a very big synonym today in the market, and we are following very strongly those paths as well. If we are talking about communication encryption as well as stream encryption from the camera down to the end user. This is something that we are doing today, and we are going beyond this because also the internal communication, the architecture, we are changing this today in these days to HTTPS and communication inside the system. This will come with version 10 then. So we are also having a look to this to become more and more secure in that way. Yeah, at the end, it does mean that our ecosystem can be used for different industries. So independent of if we are talking about casinos or if we are talking about banks, financial institutes, city surveillance, smart cities, ports, airports, trains, buses. If we are talking about retailers or military installations, we have proven solutions because of our openness and because of also the openness of our team, let's say in that way as well, because our team is always trying to support the customer with the best what they can do. And that means also that we are constantly looking to the left, to the right, what kind of technology that others are providing, maybe also our competition, is essential for you to make your life easier, to save your investment and to shorten your budgets. And that's exactly what we are standing for. We are giving answers to you. All right, when we are now going into the details about the person search plugin and the motion search plugin afterwards, I just want to give you some ideas why to talk about this. What are the business values behind this? I had one case where we had, for example, a thief in a shop, a big store. And this was a team of 3 thieves. One was taking the clothes, selecting the clothes and putting him into his coat. Then the second was checking the environment. If the detective, for example, is near to us, or the stuff, the shop stuff or whatever. And the third one was standing outside and collecting all the stolen goods from this guy, from the first guy, and putting them into a car on a parking lot. And they did that a couple of times during the day, and we identified them. And so we searched in the videos, it was about 40 cameras or so, by 6 hours, moving forward, backward, the videos, etc., playing forward, backward, etc., to identify those 3 guys whenever they have been in one of the cameras. And you can imagine this is a nightmare. Yeah, it is waste of time. It's costing time to get all this to the export tools or to the storyboard at the end. So 6 hours is a long term. So you can do something else during that time. Or imagine you have a safe city security center. And I remember when I've been in London in the security center, there was one guy sitting there behind all the other controllers and security guys and just doing analytics, evidence analysis and exporting the data for the police. 24 hours. So in that case, it might be easier to use person search plugin just as an example, or motion search plugin to save time and to save also resources in that way. So let's talk about the person search plugin firstly. So the person search plugin is an AI-based technology search. So we are finding a person in multiple sites or multiple cameras, identify them by the color, the size, the look and feel, by different arguments that we have. And you remember, for example, also in some advertisement, you have seen this virtual skeleton that we put on the people. This is also something that we're using here in a very similar way. So the person search is for improving your incident response time and to enhance the forensic investigation, to save time, to save money. So in the person search, I will show this later to you as well. You have adjustment of the minimum similarity and the detection confidence to improve the search results. You can imagine that you, for example, have super megapixel cameras where the picture is very sharp and clear, and then you may have also some analog cameras where the picture is maybe a little bit noisy, etc., etc. So in that case, you can adjust the similarity and the detection confidence like you want. If you see, for example, that the picture is too poor to identify persons, you can squeeze down or move down or reduce the similarity and detection confidence to get results out of this. So then you can select the best image of the person out of the thumbnails that you are getting. You will see this later on. So you can select the thumbnail and see, oh, now I see his face. So open it up, seeing the video, export the video. Look, this is his face. Maybe somebody is recognizing him. And there is no need for defining person properties. For example, yes, I want to search for guys who are wearing a black T-shirt, who are wearing or having black hair or whatever. So the system is automatically giving you an identification for all the people that persons that the system is detecting. And then at the end, you can search you can run the search for multiple cameras, not only for one single camera. You can do it, you can find it in the live view as well as in the recordings. And that's very important. So it's a forensic tool, but you can use it also for live analysis. If you identify, for example, in a live picture, one person, you can use the person search for identifying him in different cameras to track him. Faster response time. So as I mentioned, you can search specific person or all the persons in one or any of the other system cameras. So you can use live view and recorded material. And what is very important is the search speed is up to 64 times. That means depending on the hardware that you are using in the client, it is client based, honestly. and we're using the GPU of an NVIDIA card, the better the GPU of the NVIDIA card is, the more speed you have for search and the more cameras you can search. So just to mention, we have some benchmarks with what video card we can run, how many cameras at the same time, what is the GPU load, what is the CPU load, etc., etc. And the system is automatically also managing this. You see, for example, if you have only, let's say, a poorer GPU, then the speed is only at 8 times or 16 times. So no wonder if you cannot go to 64 times, because then the system is running by 100% CPU and GPU load. Okay. Yeah, so I was not talking about this, sorry. So what you can do also in the forensic investigation here in this person search is you can immediately export one single video or multiple videos. You can use a digital watermark to secure them, and you can use it also to put it to our storyboard plugin, so that you can select the multiple cameras together in one sequence, driving them or replaying them in parallel, put some annotations to this, some commands that you can see as well what is happening here, or you describe it. And so the storyboard is a full scenario about an incident or an evidence that has happening, to transfer it or to transmit it to the police or to the court. Okay. At the end, as I said, it's not a server-based tool, it's a client-based tool. It's running on Mirasys Spotter, our user front end. So we have plans for this, to do that also on servers, to create metadata before or during the recording period. Yeah, but this is not today's scenario. This is not the situation today. So actually, we have it as a plugin in the Spotter to check if there is an interest of customers, and then afterwards we will put it into a server-based solution. We have also ideas about identifying trucks, cars, bicycles, whatever, yeah, so that it is a full sophisticated tool for forensic analytics, and those scenarios will come later this year or maybe next year. I'm not really sure about the development right now. It is also depending on your demand. If you're saying, hey, I need it urgently, we can do it for you. The plugin is license-based or user license-based, so it is not state standard in our standard or in the enterprise license. So you need to buy a license for a user. And this does mean not for all the users that you have running on your system. You can do it for 1, for 2, for 3 users. Important is that you have a license for this, and then it depends on how many users want to use it. Yeah, so it's not essential for all the controllers or for all the operators at that way. So maybe there's only one forensic place where you want to use it, and then you can create this license or buy this license and implement it. And you can combine also the person search plugin with other plugins to optimize this. It does mean, for example, you will see it afterwards in the demo. So I have created some videos on our demo system in Finland. Somebody is putting a bag there in the entrance area. So, and you maybe saw it, yeah, but you don't know when he has put it to this. Into this area. So you can use, for example, our thumbnail search tool that where you can search 24 hours of video footage or more within seconds. So it is splitting all the video footage into, let's say, time slots and giving you a thumbnail. And if you see that the bag, for example, is between 1 and 2 p.m., at 1 p.m. it is not there, at 2 p.m. it is there. That must be exactly the hour. And then you can reduce the time slot to 1 hour, and then it gives you, for example, 60 thumbnails every minute, next thumbnail. And then you see, okay, at 1:30 p.m. it was not there, at 1:31 p.m. it was there. So then it is exactly this minute, and then you can drill down into the seconds and exactly down to the second identify, okay, when this has happened. And then you can start to identify the person or to search for the person on other videos. Okay. Let's go to the demo. As I mentioned, I have here some videos of a person search that we have done. I don't have those kind of videos here in my personal demo system. I will use it later on for the motion search. But it is exactly showing how the person search is working. Let's start. No, we don't need her. So you see, okay, there is identified this bag. I replay it. We have identified this bag at a certain time, but we don't know who has put it into this. So then we can use the thumbnail search to identify, okay, when this has happened. And when we have exactly this time, then we can move over. So, and now we have the time slot when the person is there, putting it into it. And now we can use the person search plugin. Open the person search plugin. Next slide, please. So we open this camera in the person search, and then we use the camera grid to add additional cameras out of our office. See the corridor, the office side, the aula, and then 2 cameras from R&D. The R&D office, yes. And this is exactly customizable. So you see here we have only 6 cameras, but you can also add or 16 cameras or whatever. So it doesn't matter for us. It is really depending on how strong your machine is where you're running the spotter on. Yeah. So in this case we have 6, but it could be also 16 if you need to have 16 cameras at the same time for search. So let's continue in that way. And then we click on this guy here below and say, okay, in the next step, search for this guy in all the cameras. So now he's identifying, or the system is identifying. You see also here it's 8 times speed. Now we have 16 times speed, so we have increased this and it's still working. So we have a very good GPU here. So if we're happy with this, with the results, then we can go into the details. Yeah. And we can analyze the videos case by case. So I jumped over one video. And now you can export this or do whatever you want. So this is the third person search method. Let's jump a little bit back. I think it was this video, if I remember correctly. Yes, you can now select the thumbnails and you can automatically, the system is synchronizing all the cameras at the same time and is showing you where it has been identified in what camera and also the similarity. You can do it also with the other cameras. You see also here a similarity of 50%, which is fair enough because it's the same guy. And you see also that a lot of people are wearing dark colors here. So he's already identifying him. Also, there are other persons with similar colors. Okay, and then at the end, we move to the last one where we have seen, okay, he's now leaving the office again. So then we can go and double click on him and see the video, play it forward, backward, or whatever, or export the video. Okay. Sorry for that, I was jumping over this. Okay. The next plugin that we have is the motion search plugin, and normally motion search is something that is not used very often because motion search is happening or is working fine in indoor environments. But at Mirasys we have 3 different motion search options that I want to present to you right now, which gives you much more capabilities. So first of all, we have different motion detection options. So this is something that we are doing in the server, but we're using also this search options as well for the motion search on the spotter. So you see here the comparative detection, the adaptive detection, and the hermeneutic detection. You see here that we have different mask settings in the server for, let's say, motion alarms, setting up motion recording or motion alarms. We have here a sensitivity, and we have the quantity. So the comparative motion detection is something that is just different between the iframe and then the next the changes in between the next up to the next iframe. So it's good for indoor environment where you have a constant light conditions, etc., etc. So we have an adjustable sensitivity here. So that means how much did the color or the pixel change, and we have adjustable quantity, the size of the object at the end. So you can here you see it is at a 65%, and here the quantity is at 5%. And you can have up to 4 masks per camera. The issue is here, if you use comparative motion detection in indoor environments and you shut down the light, for example, or you switch off the light, then it is creating, in most of the cases, an alarm. Therefore, we have this adaptive motion detection. It has a little bit higher CPU load per camera, but it's really suitable for outdoors. If you have trains, different light situations, indoor environment where you switch on and off the lights, then you should use the adaptive one. Per default, I think the adaptive one is always the choice that we have here. And then you have also the other capabilities with sensitive adjustment, quantity adjustment, for mask and triggering alarms. And finally, we have this hermeneutic motion detection, which has a higher CPU load per camera, but it gives you more metadata. That means the hermeneutic detection is constantly learning if a scenario is very complex. For example, heavy weather situation, or you have a flag that is moving in the wind all the time, then you should use the hermeneutic motion detection. So it is not learning, the learning process is much longer than with the adaptive motion detection. We put all this into the server, so this is a standard in our server to do motion recording and alarming, but it is also part of the motion search, and you can use it here as well. Yeah, then we have camera-based VCA. I'm jumping over this because this is not of interest for us right now. Let's have a demo here, how it is working. So I'm opening my spotter right now. Yes, and we have here our search modes. You see here alarm search, motion search, person search, text data search, thumbnail search, and watchdog event search. So a lot of search capabilities. The text data, for example, is for searching in third-party information that are coming in via our text channels. You see also here the person search, and we are now concentrating on the motion search. So the motion search is looking like this. We are selecting one camera. We are taking the Immervision here, drag and drop this to this area, and then we clean it up. Okay, then you have here, first of all, your tools where you can define the motion area you want to see. You can fill it completely, or you can have here this painting tool with different sizes of blocks, for example. You can say, okay, I want to search here in that area. If somebody is, for example, paying on the flowers or whatever, sorry for that. You can also use an eraser. So I don't need this, maybe a smaller one. I don't need this as well. Or then you can say, okay, I want to erase everything. You can use also this lasso here, for example, by selecting the entrance area. Yeah, and that's what we want to do here right now. We want to see if somebody is entering this area. Maybe a little bit too big here, so we erase something. Okay, and that's what we want to search for. Then you have here also the time. So with date, so you can select the date here. You can select the hours. You can do this here by 10 seconds, 10 minutes time slots, or you say, okay, I want to do it manually. Then you change it. You can go here to 00. And then you have also here the result counts. You can say, okay, 25 counts, 10, 50, 100. Let's take 100. And if you have, for example, have a time slot, you can set also the end time, or you can do it vice versa. You say, okay, this is my beginning time, and I want to search from the recent 5 minutes, so 5 minutes back, or I want to start this using as a start, and I want to search forward here from the selected time. Or you can say, okay, I'm using the end time and I'm setting the end time, whatever you want. So now we can start the search. Let's do it. So it's giving you results, how long this information has been here, when, at what time, and how long. 3 seconds, 1 second, 3 seconds. And by clicking on it, it is automatically jumping to the video. And now you can start the replay and checking, okay, what has been done there. So there was somebody coming in, etc., etc. Interesting is that you can also, if you have a smaller window, for example, or a smaller monitor, you can squeeze them up to a large area or to small thumbnails. And then you have additional tools here. The first tool that I want to show to you is, okay, I'm clicking on this, I'm ticking this, and you can export this, or you can add it to the storyboard. You can clear this selections, okay, this is not of my interest, or you can select all. Yeah, so you can do exports here as well. You can also select additional stuff here, and then you can add them to storyboard, because you can only export single video streams, but in the storyboard you can have multiple video streams. Clear them all, okay. And then you have also here second adjustment of the seconds of before motion and seconds after motion that needs to be replayed when you're ticking on the thumbnail. And this is only working when you have constant motion, or if you have motion recording, for example, then it could happen as well with pre and post recording. So, okay. And then at the end, you have also some tools here where you can check the motion detection method. Here, sorry, we are working with the comparative detection mode, but we can switch over to adaptive or hermeneutic detection mode, and we can set up also the sensitivity and the quantity. So if we start, for example, the search with, let's say, 50% quantity of motion, that means here 50% of the whole scenario must change. I'm pretty sure that I'm not getting any results here. Let's check it. So the system is searching, is searching, is searching. You see the search time here up to, yeah, I'm stopping this because it's not really finding anything. So you see what influence it has when you are working with the quantity. So I can drop it down to, let's say, 10%, which should be okay, so that it's not detecting any dogs. And now it's finding the persons. So a very sophisticated and easy to use tool to create a motion search scenario, to adapt a motion search scenario in a very easy way, and to restart the search with different efforts. So if you see, for example, that it is not working, so you can drop down the sensitivity or change the quantity, changing the detection mode to get better results out of this. Yeah, and to get the right results. So for example, if you have a lot of dogs, street dogs there, so then I'm pretty sure that you need to start the research again to get the right results in that way. And you can export this here as well, or use it then for, in this case, person search is not really working, honestly, but for person search methods or other methods, you can use the export, the storyboard, etc., etc. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. So we're now coming to the Q&A session. Let me sum up this content right now for you again. So we have talked about the different scenarios or potential scenarios. Remember the thief in the stores, or remember the smart city security center where there is one guy for doing forensic only to send all the incidents to the police, or whatever you can imagine. Yeah. Important is that our plugins should save time for search and should save also resources for search, because if you have one guy who is spending 6 hours there, you cannot use them for doing something else. So he needs to search in that way, or to speed up the evidence analysis. Yeah, so in that case, just to remember for the Smart City Security Center, if one guy is, or if one position is there for 24 hours, and you can reduce this by, let's say, down to 6 hours or 7 hours, yeah, then you save stuff in that way. Yeah, we have talked about the person search itself. So it is a plugin in the Spotter. So the user front end, it is client based, and it can be used for finding similar persons in different scenarios, independent on if it is a live view or if it is a recorded view on multiple cameras at the same time. Remember, it requires performance on the server or on the client's PC or client machine. So there should be a very good graphic card. In the future, we will change this for sure. So we may have our own, let's say, analytics chip in that way. But for now, you have to have a good graphic card from NVIDIA. And the best is really to buy it from us because we know what we do. And we have also talked about the motion search, a little bit about the thumbnail search, honestly, but about the motion search as a sophisticated tool indoor as well as in outdoor environments, as well as for, let's say, very harsh environments, to find motion, dedicated motion, and the dedicated size of motion in certain areas or in multiple areas in that way, and to export them as well. As I mentioned, it is all about time and saving costs, and make it more simple for you to create your evidence or your cases, to follow up the incidents that you had, or to use in a, let's say, more sophisticated way your video footage. So now we are coming to the Q&A session. So I'm checking now if there have been any questions so far. Yeah, there was a question about the pricing for the motion search. Motion search is free of charge, let's say in that way. So it's a standard in our solution in the enterprise and also in the pro and the base license. It's always inside. And as I mentioned, the person search is costing a bit of money. Depending on how many users wanted to use this, you are buying the licenses, but I can tell you it's not that expensive. So I'm pretty sure that the return on invest is nothing within days if you're using it constantly. There was another question, okay, about the graphic cards. So do you have a list of graphic cards? How many cameras I can use? Yes, we have one. So we have done some tests, some trials also to see the benchmarks, and we have a benchmark list of how many cameras you can use. I think it's part of the data sheet already. So there is written down, okay, what is the CPU load of if you're using 4 cameras, and if you're 16 cameras, if you have this CPU and this GPU, etc., etc. So in that case, it's part of the data sheet as well. Then there is another question. Okay, can we do a trial with this person search, let's say for 2 weeks or so? Yes, we can provide you with demo licenses. Normally, normal demo licenses running for 3 months. So we can expand this as well, and we can grant you with all the features in the demo license. Normally, all the features are implemented so that you can do trials, you can do tests with the person search, with the easy LPR for LPR cameras, etc., etc. So it is everything is contained in the demo license. So in that case, just contact us and we will grant you a demo license for that. Okay, any other questions? Nope, I don't think so. Hey, good. Well, okay. Then I do hope I woke up your interest in this, and I made you hungry to learn more about Mirasys and more about the plugins that we have. You've seen, hopefully, that we have very useful plugins that ease up your life. And I thank you very much for your attention, for staying with us, for being with us. Just to mention, we are publishing this recording of this webinar in, I think, 2 days' time on the YouTube channel, that you can share it with your customers or your colleagues to emphasize them and as well, or to give them also some ideas what they can do. And I honestly ask you, please dig into our YouTube channel. There are a lot of webinar recordings and also best practice recordings. We can see whatever we can, and we will enrich this case by case as well. So let's say every 2 weeks there is a new video there, what you can do with Mirasys. The next webinar, as I remember correctly, is after the Easter days, so in 2 weeks' time. And we will talk about the integrations via text channel, via TCP/IP, how easy it is and how it is looking like, what it would cost and what you can do with this. So I'm very eager to see you then again. And at the end, I just need to say again, thank you. Stay healthy, stay tuned, stay with us, and hope we will see us very soon. Cheers, all the best. Bye-bye.